Your AI tools just started charging by the meter, and most enterprises price them on the math that no longer applies. On Monday, the most popular AI tool on the planet quietly changed the way it charges you. No press conference, no price increase on the label, but a single coding session that cost you effectively nothing last week can now burn $40 in one sitting. And that's the part that should make every technology leader watching sit up. This isn't a GitHub story. It's a preview of a bill that's coming for every AI initiative that you run. Here is what actually happened. On June 1st, GitHub moved every Copilot plan to usage-based billing. They replaced the old premium request system with something called AI credits. And now you're billed on the tokens your interactions consume. Input, output, cached context, all of it is metered. The base prices didn't move. Pro is still $10. Business is still 19. But those numbers no longer describe what you get. They describe a credit allowance. And one developer in GitHub's own community thread estimated that agentic coding sessions routinely consume $30 to $40 each. Do that math. A $10 pro plan can be exhausted in a single working session. Now zoom out, because Copilot is just the visible tip. This is the shape of the entire enterprise AI cost curve in 2026. The FinOps Foundation's 2026 report found that 73% of organizations saw AI costs exceed their original budget projections, making AI the single fastest growing new spend category they can track. And EY put a number on why. A customer service interaction that cost 4 cents in 2023 costs about $1.20 in 2026. Once you wrap it in agentic orchestration, that's roughly 30 times more for the same task. Now, here's where I want to slow everything down, because the headlines are reading this completely wrong. Every article frames it as GitHub raised prices or AI is getting expensive. That's the lazy read. Here's the read after 15 years of sitting across table from enterprise clients. AI was never priced correctly, and almost everyone built their ROI case on chatbot-era math for agentic-era workloads. Think about what changed under the hood. A chatbot answers one question and stops. An agent plans, calls, tools, loops, retries, and reasons across dozens of steps before it returns a single answer. The pricing page made those two things feel identical. They are not. One of them can consume an order of magnitude more tokens than the other. And business cases that got these projects approved quietly assumed the cheap one. And the tell isn't who's suddenly responsible for it. In 2025, 31% of FinOps practitioners managed AI spend. By 2026, that figure is 98%. Almost overnight, a discipline that spent a decade governing cloud bills has been handed a cost structure it has no playbook for. Token based, consumption driven, and architecturally volatile. That's not a pricing change. That's a whole new control function being born under pressure. Or did we all assume that the pilot price would hold? So, what do you actually do about it? 3 moves. You can start all 3 this week, and none of them require a new budget line. 1. Audit the token multiplier on every agentic workflow. Map each agent loop and find how many tokens it burns per user initiated task. Anything consuming more than 10 times the tokens per ask needs an architecture review. That single audit typically surfaces 40 to 60% of your inference waste. That's your fastest dollar. Number 2, rerun your ROI case on production volume, not pilot volume. Take your biggest live AI initiative and recalculate the unit economics at volume production actually demands, not the volume your pilot saw. The order of magnitude gap between these two numbers is exactly where AI budgets quietly die. Third one, make the own versus rent decision deliberately with real numbers. For high utilization, predictable workloads, owning your inference infrastructure can be up to 18 times cheaper per million tokens than renting it through model as a service APIs, with a break-even point under 4 months. That doesn't mean buy hardware. It means stop defaulting to the cloud meter without running the math. Here's the story that didn't make a single headline this week, and it's the one that reframes everything I just said. The cost per token is collapsing, and Dressen Horowitz calls it LLMflation. For a model of equivalent performance, the price has fallen roughly 1,000-fold in 3 years. 1,000 times cheaper. So why is your bill going up? Because of a 160-year-old idea called the Jevons paradox. When you make a resource dramatically cheaper, people don't use less of it. They use vastly more. Cheaper tokens aren't the thing that lowers your bill. Cheaper tokens are the reason your bill is exploding because they are what made always on agent anywhere deployment affordable enough to attempt in the first place. The leaders who win in 2026 won't be the ones who find the cheapest model. They'll be the ones who govern consumption while everyone else is still shopping on price. So let's come to your homework this week. Pull the projected cost preview of your single biggest AI initiative and put it next to the number that was in original business case that it got approved. Just look at the two numbers side by side. That gap is your real story. And the question I actually want you to answer in the comments, be honest. When you signed off on your last AI project, did anyone model the cost at full production volume, or did we all just assume the pilot price would hold? Tell me below. I read every answer, and the best answer becomes the next week's tension. I'm Raj. I'll see you next week on the AI Unpacked. Namaskar.